Sports.com, and we're very excited now to have not on the Truck Center Company's hotline, but actually in studio, Greg Veerhusen, who is the head coach of the Heartland girls. Coach, thanks a lot for coming in today. We take you away from lunch, I know. But,
that's all right.
We'll
that's all right. You can see I can miss a few lunches. I afford to miss a few. So.
One or two. Okay, well, we'll put this one on the count. 20-4 is the record for you guys right now. What would you count as some of the highlights for you guys so far this year?
Well, we were very fortunate. We got, looking at wins-wise, we got 2 good wins against Friend, who was a very quality team. We were very fortunate during regular season to go through and win all our conference games that we played. We ended up a little bit short in the conference tournament, losing to Sandy Creek, who was playing very well basketball at that time, and so we got beat there. But you know, those were some of our main goals right there, was to definitely place in the holiday and in the conference tournament, and so, but those were some good highlights, and obviously a very good win against Blue Hill last Thursday.
Let's talk a little bit about that game. That was one that when the bracket came out, it was like 17-4, 17-4 in the regular season. It's like this one might happen on a Thursday, and it did. So talk about the way the girls had to obviously play a quality opponent that early in sub-districts.
Yeah, I think all year, no one really wanted to say it, but I think all year they were always kind of looking at, okay, what's Blue Hill doing? What's Blue Hill doing? Because we knew that they were going to be a very good team. And the girls, you know, for the most part, attacked it very well. You know, they were pretty calm in practice, and they went at it as a workmanlike attitude, and you know, they were very concentrated. I couldn't really tell, but a lot of them told me before the game, oh, Coach V, I was so nervous before. But I couldn't really tell in the locker room or anything, so they hit it very well. You know, we knew Blue Hill was going to be tough. You just look at their roster and you look at our roster and you're like, that's 2 identical teams going at it. The only main difference was we played man-to-man, they played 2-3 zone, and so we knew that it was going to be a hard-fought battle. And I think a lot of people thought, man, there's a lot of turnovers. Well, when you have 2 good teams that are both good defensively and very quick and like to push the ball, there was going to be some turnovers. And so, but I was very proud of how, obviously the win, but how we stuck with it. You know, we had an 8-point lead, and then just like that, all of a sudden they were shooting free throws to cut it down to 1, and our girls found a way to finish it out. So
you guys are a little unique this year in the fact that you don't have any seniors that are in your top 3 in scoring. That doesn't happen all the time unless you have a super young roster. You guys really don't. You have enough, shall we say, a normal number of seniors. So what does that class bring to you and to this team besides the scoring?
Well, the seniors, they might not be the top in the scoring, but they do a lot of what we'd call stats and don't show up on the stat line. I mean, they're executing the offense, they're leading us, and you know, and they don't ever complain about being. I mean, none of the team does, but they, especially them being seniors, they just want what's best for the team, and that's what they do. I mean, they try to find our open shooters, and they look to pass the ball, and they do the small things, get the rebounds, and you know, what's nice is, yeah, Taylor, Kate, and Bailey are our top 3, but you know, every now and then we'll have Ellie would pop in with 10 points, or Leslie will have 10 points, or then Megan will get in 6 here and there. And so they do a nice job of saying, okay, we can't just concentrate on these. We got to concentrate on the whole team.
And so that was my next question, actually, to lead into what the skill sets, which are pretty different for 3 girls that average in double figures. Taylor's a little slasher, and Bailey gets shots all over the floor. Kate kind of does the same thing. So how have you tried to manage those 3?
Well, with Taylor, we just try to use her athleticism. I don't think it's any secret anymore. We like to press, and so we like to put her on the front and press and use her athleticism and get it out and go and have her run the court. With Bailey and Kate, we like to try to get the ball inside. If we don't have anything, have them motion where they're open and kick it out and get a good inside-outside game going, and let them shoot their threes, and you know, and then try to run some set plays for them.
So the couple games I've been able to see live of you guys, it's really interesting to watch the way they all kind of work together. And when things kind of break down, it seems like there's always 1 or 2 of them that are able to just kind of take it and go with it and make something happen.
Well, that's, you know, we've Coach Maltzberger, my assistant coach, and I have talked about that too. You know, it's not just Kate doing all the scoring all the games, or Bailey doing all the scoring, or Taylor doing. You know, they always. It seems like one of them is the leading scorer, and the next game, the next one's the leading scorer, and the next one's the next game's the leading scorer. And so that's a nice thing to have. But, you know, it's a whole team thing. It really is, because everybody's looking to do their role, and that's something we've really talked about this year. If we all do our part and we all stay together, well, we can have a pretty good, successful season.
So how do you try to manage your practices and games to get ready for the end of the season? It's a long season. There's a lot of games to try to get to peak at the right time. We just talked to all the wrestlers last week that were talking about peaking within the last 2 weeks of the season. How do you try to manage that?
Well, you know, towards the end of the year, we probably do more shooting than we do during the season. I mean, in practice, anyways, and then. You know, we're always trying to game plan for something, and so we do a little bit of preparation there, and then we just work on the stuff that we've been accustomed to. And so, you know, yeah, you really do try to peak at the right time, and you know, and that's the thing about Fullerton right now. Yeah, if you take, I mean, a lot of people look at the record and say, oh, they're struggling. Well, if you look at their last 5 games, they're not struggling. I mean, they've won the last 5 and they're rolling right now, and that's when you want to be rolling. So it's definitely going to be a tough game for us on Friday night. That weather stays away, and we're going to have to be ready to play. That's for sure.
Well, that's the next question. Then what is the scouting report for Fullerton? They were at state last year. I know there's some height, there's some good athleticism there. Maybe it just took a little longer to come around this year.
Yeah, well, when you look at the roster, the thing that pops out is number 40, Plumtree, 6'3". You don't see that a lot, and so, you know, you have to try to contain her. She takes away the middle in their 2-3 zone, and so you're definitely going to have to try to hit some outside shots. Otherwise, everything's going to be coming back at you if you try to get in the paint. And so, and then they have a nice combination to go with her. They have some outside guards that can hit the 3, and then they have another girl that can, number 14. I don't want to butcher her name. I've tried to pronounce it. I don't think I'll do a very good job, but she's a great slasher and gets to the rim and does a lot of reboundings. And so, like I said, they're playing really good basketball right now, and so it's definitely a game that we're going to have to be ready for, and it's not going to be no slouch, that's for sure. So.
What would it mean for this group of girls to be able to say we made it to Lincoln this year?
I think, you know, we kind of talked about at the beginning of the year, we set our goals like most teams do, and obviously it's one of the goals. And then we said, okay, that's the last time we're talking about it. And so we kind of kept the theory of don't look up. That was kind of our saying this year as we referred it to golf. You know, if you're teeing off, maybe you're probably a better golfer than I am, but it happens to me a lot. I look up and I'm looking for the ball, and there it is 10 feet to the right of me, you know, because I look up. So we kind of referred it to that, and we didn't want to look up. So we talked about it at the very beginning of the year, and then we just said, all right, don't look up. What's the next thing? Well, it's practice, so let's concentrate on that. Okay, now we have this game. Now we need to concentrate on that. So that's what we try to keep. We try to keep the focus. And, you know, and we talked about it just last night. It's the closer you get to your goal, the harder it is not to look up. And so that's what we're trying to do. So we're just trying to concentrate right now. We're trying to concentrate on what we're going to do in practice today to get ready for Fullerton. Thursday, what we're going to do, and then Friday, be ready to play. So. And
hopefully that happens on Friday, and if not, it'll happen on some other day, obviously, right? That's this next segment when we talk about the weather with Tony. This is Heartland coach Greg Veerhusen. Thanks a lot for coming in today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we are going to stream that. That would be on the Heartland channel. So for those of you that are looking to watch that, be looking for that coming up on Friday or Saturday, or hopefully it's Friday. That's right. That would be great. That wouldn't mess with anybody's plans. When we come back, we've got more. We've got some highlights with some state wrestling and a state record on the boys' side for threes made by anybody, but this one's a freshman. So stay tuned for that on Prep Huddle Live.